What if the greatest discoveries in human history, from Edison's light bulb to Einstein's theory of relativity, were not accidents of genius, but the result of ordinary minds learning to harmonize thought with action to tap into something far greater than themselves? What if I told you that this same infinite intelligence that guided these masters is available to you right now, waiting for you to align your mental faculties with purposeful action? You see, most people live their entire lives believing that success is a matter of luck, circumstance, or being born with special talents. They stumble through existence, their minds scattered like leaves in a hurricane, their actions disconnected from any higher purpose. They wonder why breakthrough ideas elude them, why solutions seem impossibly complex, why they feel perpetually stuck in mediocrity. But here's what separates the truly successful from the masses. They have learned to harmonize their mental powers with deliberate action, creating a bridge between their conscious mind and the infinite intelligence that permeates the universe. They understand that the mind is not merely a tool for processing information. It is a receiving station capable of tuning into frequencies of wisdom that transcend individual limitations. Tonight I will show you how to become such a person. I will reveal the principles that allow you to synchronize your thoughts with purposeful action, transforming you from a passive observer of life into an active participant in the grand symphony of infinite intelligence. Let me begin with a fundamental truth that will revolutionize your understanding of success. Infinite intelligence is not some mystical concept reserved for philosophers and theologians. It is a practical force that governs every aspect of achievement, innovation, and human progress. It is the source from which all great ideas emerge, the wellspring of solutions to seemingly impossible problems, the guiding force behind every significant breakthrough in human history. But here's where most people fail. They treat infinite intelligence as something external to themselves, something they must petition or hope will favor them. This is backwards thinking. Infinite intelligence is not a deity to be worshipped. It is a frequency to be tuned into, a resource to be accessed, a partnership to be forged. Consider Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate who accumulated one of the greatest fortunes in American history. Carnegie understood that his success was not merely the result of his individual efforts, but of his ability to harmonize his thoughts with universal principles of organization, efficiency, and human cooperation. He didn't simply work harder than his competitors. He worked in harmony with forces greater than himself. When Carnegie conceived his plan to dominate the steel industry, he didn't rely solely on his own knowledge and experience. He created what he called his mastermind, a group of brilliant individuals whose combined intelligence far exceeded the sum of their individual capabilities. But more importantly, Carnegie learned to quiet his ego-driven thoughts and attune his mind to the higher intelligence that could guide him toward optimal decisions. This is your first principle. Infinite intelligence responds to minds that have learned to harmonize thought with action. It does not reward wishful thinking or passive meditation. It reveals itself to those who combine focused thought with purposeful action, who understand that revelation comes through work, not through waiting. Here's how you begin this harmonization every morning before you engage with the chaos of the day. Spend 20 minutes in what I call purposeful alignment. This is not meditation in the passive sense. It is active mental conditioning. You align your thoughts with your definite major purpose. You visualize the actions you will take that day, and you open your mind to receive guidance from sources beyond your conscious awareness. During this alignment period, you ask specific questions. What is the most important action I can take today to advance my purpose? What opportunities am I not seeing? What patterns am I missing that could accelerate my progress? Then, and this is crucial, you remain receptive to insights that may come not as dramatic revelations, but as subtle nudges towards certain actions or decisions. The businessman who revolutionized retail, Sam Walton, practiced this principle instinctively. He would spend hours walking through competitor stores, not just observing what they did, but attuning his mind to the underlying patterns of customer behavior, operational efficiency, and market dynamics. He harmonized his analytical thinking with intuitive insights, allowing infinite intelligence to guide him toward innovations that seemed obvious in retrospect, but were invisible to others at the time. Now that you understand the nature of infinite intelligence, let me reveal the second principle. Your thoughts must be aligned with a definite major purpose before infinite intelligence can work through you effectively. Random thoughts produce random results. Scattered thinking creates scattered outcomes. But when you align your mental faculties with a clear, definite purpose, you create a powerful magnetic force that attracts the resources, opportunities, and insights necessary for achievement. Most people's minds are like radio receivers that are constantly changing stations. They think about their problems, their fears, their desires, their regrets, jumping from one mental frequency to another without ever stabilizing on a clear signal. This mental chaos makes it impossible to receive the subtle guidance that infinite intelligence provides. But consider the focused mind of Thomas Edison. Edison aligned every thought, every experiment, every action with his definite purpose of creating practical inventions that would improve human life. When he worked on the incandescent light bulb, he didn't scatter his mental energy across multiple projects or allow his mind to wander into worry about failure. He focused his entire mental apparatus on the single challenge of creating a practical electric light. This focused alignment created what Edison called genius. But what was really his ability to tune into the infinite intelligence that contained the solution to his challenge? The breakthrough didn't come from his individual knowledge alone, but from his capacity to harmonize his persistent action with the universal intelligence that guides all innovation. Here's your practical application. You must establish a definite, major purpose that is so clear, so compelling, so precisely defined that it becomes the organizing principle for every thought and action. This purpose must be written down, reviewed daily, and used as the filter through which you evaluate every decision and opportunity. But here's where most people fail. They confuse wishes with purposes. A wish is passive. I wish I were wealthy. A purpose is active. I will build a business that serves 1 million customers by providing them with solutions to their most pressing problems. A wish hopes for external circumstances to change. A purpose creates internal alignment that attracts the resources necessary for achievement. Once you have established your definite major purpose, you must train your mind to automatically align every thought with this purpose. When you wake up, your first thoughts should be about your purpose. When you face challenges, you should ask how these challenges can serve your purpose. When you make decisions, you should evaluate them based on whether they advance or detract from your purpose. This alignment creates what I call purposeful magnetism, a mental state that attracts ideas, opportunities, and resources that are harmonious with your definite aim. It's not magic. It's the result of a focused mind that has learned to perceive patterns and possibilities that scattered thinking cannot detect. Ray Kroc understood this principle when he transformed McDonald's from a small restaurant into a global empire. His definite major purpose was not simply to sell hamburgers. It was to create a system that could deliver consistent quality and service at any location. This clarity of purpose allowed him to perceive opportunities that others missed, to make decisions that seemed counterintuitive but were aligned with his greater vision, and to persist through obstacles that would have defeated a less focused mind. The third principle in harmonizing mind and action is the development of controlled attention, the ability to focus your mental energy on specific thoughts and objectives without being derailed by distractions, emotions, or external circumstances. This is not mere concentration. It is the conscious direction of your mental power toward the achievement of definite results. Most people are victims of their own attention. They allow their minds to be pulled in every direction by news, gossip, social media, worry, and trivial concerns. Their mental energy is scattered like sunlight through a magnifying glass held too far from paper warm, but lacking the focused intensity necessary to create fire. But when you learn to control your attention, focusing it like a laser beam on your definite purpose and the actions that advance it, you create mental intensity that can burn through obstacles that would otherwise seem insurmountable. You develop the ability to perceive solutions that are invisible to distracted minds, to maintain persistence when others quit, and to tap into the infinite intelligence that responds only to sustained, focused effort. Consider the example of Walt Disney, who revolutionized entertainment through his ability to maintain controlled attention on his vision despite facing bankruptcy, criticism, and seemingly impossible technical challenges. When Disney conceived Disneyland, most people thought he was insane. Amusement parks were considered cheap, tawdry affairs. But Disney controlled his attention, focusing it not on the limitations of existing amusement parks, but on his vision of a place where families could experience magic together. This controlled attention allowed Disney to perceive possibilities that others couldn't see. He noticed how people moved through spaces, how they responded to different environments, how storytelling could be integrated with physical experience. His focused attention created a bridge between his imagination and practical reality, allowing infinite intelligence to guide him toward innovations that seemed impossible until they were achieved. Here's how you develop controlled attention. You must train your mind like an athlete trains their body. Every day, you practice focusing your attention on your definite major purpose for specific periods without allowing distractions to interfere. Start with 10 minutes of undivided attention on your purpose, visualizing it, planning actions to achieve it, and remaining open to insights about how to proceed. But here's the crucial element: controlled attention is not passive focus. It is active engagement with your purpose, combined with receptivity to guidance from infinite intelligence. You focus your conscious mind on your objective while remaining open to subconscious insights, hunches, and intuitive nudges that may guide you toward breakthrough solutions. During these periods of controlled attention, you also practice what I call mental discipline, the ability to redirect your attention immediately when it wanders toward negative thoughts, fears, or distractions. You develop the habit of asking yourself, is this thought advancing my purpose or hindering it? If it's hindering, you immediately redirect your attention back to purposeful thinking. Steve Jobs exemplified this principle throughout his career. Jobs had an almost supernatural ability to maintain controlled attention on the user experience while ignoring the countless distractions that derail most business leaders. When developing the iPhone, he focused his attention not on what was technologically possible, but on what would create the most intuitive, elegant experience for users. This controlled attention allowed him to perceive solutions that combined seemingly incompatible elements: simplicity with sophistication, power with ease of use. The fourth principle reveals one of the most profound secrets of success. Obstacles are not impediments to achievement. They are the raw material from which achievement is forged. When you learn to harmonize your mind with infinite intelligence, you develop the ability to transform every obstacle into a stepping stone, every challenge into an opportunity, every setback into a setup for greater success. Most people view obstacles as evidence that they should quit, change direction, or lower their expectations. They see challenges as punishment, setbacks as proof of their inadequacy, failures as reasons to abandon their dreams. This backwards thinking keeps them trapped in mediocrity, always looking for the easy path that leads nowhere significant. But here's what the truly successful understand: obstacles are infinite intelligence's way of testing your commitment, strengthening your capabilities, and guiding you toward better solutions. Every obstacle contains within it the seed of equivalent or greater benefit, but only for those who have learned to harmonize their mental response with purposeful action. Consider the story of Colonel Sanders, who faced obstacle after obstacle in his journey to create the Kentucky Fried Chicken empire. At age 65, when most people are thinking about retirement, Sanders was broke, living on Social Security checks, and had just lost his restaurant due to a new interstate highway that diverted traffic away from his location. Most people would have accepted defeat, but Sanders had learned to harmonize his mind with infinite intelligence. Instead of seeing the loss of his restaurant as the end of his career, he saw it as the beginning of a new opportunity. He took his chicken recipe and began approaching restaurants across the country, offering to teach them his method in exchange for a percentage of their sales. He was rejected 9 times before finding his first partner. Each rejection was not a setback. It was feedback from infinite intelligence, guiding him toward better approaches, stronger presentation skills, and more suitable partners. Sanders harmonized his persistent action with receptivity to guidance, allowing each obstacle to teach him something that brought him closer to his ultimate success. Here's how you apply this principle. Whenever you encounter an obstacle, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What is this obstacle trying to teach me? And how can I use this challenge to become stronger, smarter, or more capable?" You develop what I call obstacle alchemy, the ability to extract value from every difficulty. When you face financial challenges, you don't just worry about money. You use the challenge to become more creative, more efficient, more focused on value creation. When you encounter technical problems, you don't just seek quick fixes. You use the problems to develop deeper understanding, better systems, and more robust solutions. This transformation of obstacles requires a fundamental shift in mental attitude. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, you see yourself as a partner with infinite intelligence in the process of achievement. You understand that every obstacle is perfectly designed to develop the specific capabilities you need for your next level of success. Oprah Winfrey exemplifies this principle. Every obstacle in her life, from poverty to abuse to professional setbacks, became the foundation for greater achievement. She didn't just overcome these challenges, she transformed them into sources of strength, wisdom, and connection with others. Her ability to harmonize her painful experiences with purposeful action created a media empire and influenced millions of people worldwide. The fifth principle addresses the crucial relationship between mental preparation and physical action. Most people operate from one of two extremes. They either engage in frantic activity without mental preparation, or they spend endless time in mental preparation without taking action. Both approaches fail to harness the power of infinite intelligence. True success requires what I call inspired action. Action that emerges from the harmonious relationship between prepared mind and infinite intelligence. This is not random activity or wishful thinking, but purposeful action that is guided by insights, hunches, and opportunities that appear when your mind is properly aligned with your definite purpose. Inspired action has a different quality than ordinary action. It feels effortless yet produces extraordinary results. It seems to attract the exact resources, people, and opportunities needed for success. It creates momentum that builds upon itself, generating what appears to be lucky breaks, but is actually the natural result of harmonized thinking and acting. Consider the example of Henry Ford, who revolutionized transportation not through frantic activity, but through inspired action guided by his vision of making automobiles accessible to the average person. Ford's development of the assembly line didn't emerge from random experimentation. It came from his ability to harmonize his mental vision with practical action, allowing infinite intelligence to guide him toward innovations that seemed obvious in retrospect but were revolutionary at the time. Ford would spend hours in mental preparation, visualizing not just the end result he wanted to achieve, but the processes that would make it possible. He would imagine workers moving efficiently through standardized procedures, parts flowing seamlessly from one stage to another, and customers driving affordable cars that previously only the wealthy could afford. This mental preparation created the foundation for inspired action that transformed an entire industry. Here's how you develop the rhythm of inspired action. You begin each day with a period of mental preparation where you align your thoughts with your definite purpose, visualize the results you want to achieve, and open your mind to receive guidance about the most important actions to take. But, and this is crucial, you don't spend the entire day in mental preparation. You move into action while maintaining receptivity to insights and course corrections. During action, you maintain what I call dynamic awareness, the ability to remain fully engaged in your activities while staying open to hunches, opportunities, and adjustments that may emerge from infinite intelligence. You work with intensity and focus, but without the rigid attachment that prevents you from recognizing better approaches when they present themselves. This rhythm creates a feedback loop between mental preparation and practical action. Your actions provide information that refines your mental preparation, and your mental preparation provides guidance that makes your actions more effective. Over time, this rhythm becomes natural, creating a flow state where achievement feels both inevitable and effortless. Amazon's Jeff Bezos exemplified this principle when building his company. Bezos combined intense mental preparation studying market trends, customer behavior, and technological possibilities with rapid, decisive action. He would spend considerable time thinking through strategic decisions, but once he gained clarity, he would act swiftly and adjust based on results. This rhythm allowed him to build one of the most successful companies in history, while maintaining the flexibility to pivot when circumstances change. The sixth principle reveals perhaps the most subtle yet powerful aspect of harmonizing mind and action, developing receptivity to the universal wisdom that flows through infinite intelligence. This is not passive waiting for divine inspiration, but active cultivation of the mental conditions that allow you to receive guidance from sources beyond your conscious awareness. Most people operate primarily from their conscious mind, relying on their limited personal knowledge and experience to make decisions and solve problems. While conscious thinking is important, it represents only a small fraction of the intelligence available to you. The vast majority of breakthrough insights, innovative solutions, and successful strategies emerge from the subconscious mind's ability to process information and connect patterns in ways that exceed conscious capability. But here's the key. Your subconscious mind is not isolated from the universe around you. It is constantly receiving information from infinite intelligence, the same source that guides natural processes, inspires artistic creation, and provides the insights that lead to scientific discoveries. The question is not whether this guidance is available, but whether you have developed the receptivity to receive it. Consider the story of Nikola Tesla, whose revolutionary inventions seemed to emerge from a source beyond ordinary human knowledge. Tesla described his creative process as a form of mental receptivity where he would visualize his inventions in complete detail, test them mentally, and make improvements, all before building any physical prototypes. He claimed that his most important insights came not from conscious calculation, but from a form of receptivity that allowed him to tap into universal principles. Tesla's approach was not mystical, it was methodical. He would prepare his mind through intense study and focused attention, then create the mental conditions for receptivity through relaxation and openness. This combination of preparation and receptivity allowed him to receive insights that transformed human understanding of electricity, wireless communication, and energy transmission. Here's how you cultivate this receptivity. You must learn to balance active mental effort with passive receptivity. After periods of intense focus on your challenges or objectives, you create space for insights to emerge. This might involve taking walks in nature, engaging in repetitive activities that quiet conscious thinking, or simply sitting quietly while remaining open to whatever thoughts or insights may arise. But receptivity is not passive waiting, it is active listening. You pay attention to hunches, sudden insights, unexpected connections between seemingly unrelated ideas, and subtle shifts in your understanding of problems or opportunities. You develop the habit of asking questions and then remaining receptive to answers that may come not as dramatic revelations, but as gradual shifts in perspective or understanding. This receptivity also extends to your environment. You become aware of synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that seem to guide you toward opportunities or solutions. You notice when certain people, books, or experiences appear at precisely the right moment to provide needed information or inspiration. You develop the ability to recognize these patterns as communications from infinite intelligence rather than dismissing them as mere coincidence. The most successful entrepreneurs and innovators throughout history have mastered this balance of preparation and receptivity. They work intensely to understand their markets, develop their skills, and create value for others. But they also remain open to insights and opportunities that emerge from sources beyond their conscious planning. The seventh principle addresses the mental toughness required to maintain your connection with infinite intelligence despite the inevitable challenges, setbacks, and criticism you will encounter on your path to success. Most people allow external circumstances to disrupt their mental harmony, cutting them off from the very source of guidance they need most during difficult times. Mental resilience is not about suppressing emotions or pretending that challenges don't affect you. It is about developing the ability to maintain your mental equilibrium and purposeful focus regardless of external circumstances. It is about creating an inner fortress of conviction that cannot be shaken by temporary defeats, criticism from others, or the apparent impossibility of your goals. This resilience emerges from understanding a fundamental truth. Your connection with infinite intelligence is not dependent on external validation, favorable circumstances, or the approval of others. It is an internal relationship that you can maintain regardless of what happens in the external world. When you truly understand this, you become unshakable in your pursuit of your definite major purpose. Consider the example of Abraham Lincoln, who maintained his connection with infinite intelligence despite facing the greatest challenges any American president has encountered. Lincoln dealt with a nation divided by civil war, personal tragedies, and constant criticism from political opponents and the press. Yet he maintained his mental equilibrium and purposeful focus, allowing infinite intelligence to guide him toward decisions that preserve the Union and advance human freedom. Lincoln's resilience came not from ignoring his challenges, but from maintaining his alignment with principles greater than his personal comfort or popularity. He understood that his role was not to be liked or to avoid difficulty, but to serve as a channel for infinite intelligence in addressing the greatest crisis in American history. This understanding gave him the strength to persist when others would have quit, to make difficult decisions when others would have compromised, and to maintain hope when others despaired. Here's how you build this unshakable mental resilience. You must develop what I call principle detachment, the ability to remain committed to your purpose and principles while detaching from specific outcomes or timelines. You work with intensity and focus, but without the desperate attachment that creates anxiety when things don't go according to plan. This detachment is not indifference. It is the recognition that your job is to align your thoughts and actions with infinite intelligence, and to trust that this alignment will produce the best possible outcomes, even when they differ from your original expectations. You maintain your effort and focus while remaining flexible about how your purpose may be achieved. You also develop what I call mental immunity, the ability to remain unaffected by criticism, doubt, or negativity from others. You understand that most people operate from fear, limitation, and conventional thinking, and that their opinions about your goals or methods are irrelevant to your success. You neither seek their approval nor waste energy defending your vision against their doubt. This mental immunity comes from understanding that infinite intelligence operates through individuals who are willing to think and act beyond conventional limitations. The same qualities that make you capable of extraordinary achievement, vision, persistence, unconventional thinking, will often make you a target for criticism from those who are threatened by your refusal to accept their limitations. The eighth principle involves synthesizing all previous principles into a personal success formula that becomes your operating system for achievement. This is not a rigid method that you follow mechanically, but a flexible approach that you adapt to your unique circumstances, capabilities, and objectives while maintaining alignment with the universal principles of success. Your personal success formula must integrate three essential elements: your definite major purpose, your method of mental preparation and receptivity, and your approach to inspired action. These elements must work together harmoniously, creating a system that generates consistent progress toward your goals while remaining open to guidance and course corrections from infinite intelligence. The development of this formula requires honest self-assessment of your strengths, challenges, and natural tendencies. Some people are naturally more intuitive and may need to develop greater practical skills. Others are naturally more analytical and may need to develop greater receptivity to insights and hunches. Your formula must build upon your natural capabilities while addressing your areas for development. Consider how successful entrepreneurs develop their personal formulas. Richard Branson's formula emphasizes adventure, customer focus, and rapid decision-making. His approach to mental preparation involves seeking experiences that stretch his comfort zone, while his inspired action focuses on identifying customer problems that others have ignored. This formula has guided him to success in industries ranging from music to airlines to space travel. In contrast, Warren Buffett's formula emphasizes patience, thorough analysis, and long-term thinking. His mental preparation involves extensive research and reading, while his inspired action focuses on making few but highly informed investment decisions. Both formulas work because they align with each individual's natural strengths while incorporating the universal principles of success. Here's how you create your personal success formula. Begin by identifying your definite major purpose with absolute clarity. This purpose must be specific enough to guide daily decisions, compelling enough to maintain motivation during difficult periods, and meaningful enough to justify the effort required for achievement. Next, develop your method of mental preparation that combines focused thinking with receptivity to infinite intelligence. This might involve morning visualization, evening reflection, regular periods of quiet contemplation, or whatever approach helps you maintain alignment between your thoughts and your purpose while remaining open to guidance and insights. Finally, create your approach to inspired action that balances planning with flexibility, effort with receptivity, and persistence with adaptability. This approach should feel natural to you while stretching you beyond your comfort zone, and it should produce measurable progress toward your goals while remaining open to better methods as they emerge. Your formula should also include methods for maintaining mental resilience during challenging periods, systems for measuring progress and making adjustments, and practices for continuous learning and development. It should be comprehensive enough to guide you through any situation while remaining simple enough to implement consistently. The ninth principle reveals how small, consistent improvements in harmonizing your mind with infinite intelligence create exponential results over time. Most people underestimate the power of compound growth, expecting dramatic changes from massive efforts, while ignoring the tremendous impact of small, consistent improvements sustained over time. When you harmonize your thinking with infinite intelligence, you create what mathematicians call a compound effect, small improvements that build upon themselves, creating results that far exceed the sum of your individual efforts. Each day of aligned thinking makes the next day more effective. Each inspired action creates momentum that makes future actions more productive. Each insight received from infinite intelligence increases your capacity to receive greater insights. This compound effect operates in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Your mental clarity improves, making better decisions easier. Your intuitive capabilities develop, allowing you to recognize opportunities and solutions more quickly. Your confidence grows, enabling you to take actions that previously seemed impossible. Your reputation builds, attracting resources and opportunities that accelerate your progress. Consider the compound effect in Thomas Edison's career. Edison didn't achieve success through a single breakthrough, but through the compound effect of thousands of small improvements in his thinking, experimentation, and application of principles. Each patent built upon previous learning. Each failure provided insights that made future successes more likely. Each innovation created credibility that attracted more resources and opportunities. By the end of his career, Edison held over 1,000 patents and had created entire industries. This extraordinary productivity resulted not from superhuman effort, but from the compound effect of consistently harmonizing his thinking with infinite intelligence while taking persistent, purposeful action. Here's how you harness the compound effect. You must shift your focus from seeking dramatic breakthroughs to making small, consistent improvements in your alignment with infinite intelligence. Instead of expecting overnight transformation, you commit to daily practices that gradually enhance your mental clarity, intuitive receptivity, and action effectiveness. Each morning, you improve your mental preparation by just 1%. Each day, you take actions that are slightly more aligned with your purpose. Each evening, you reflect on insights received and lessons learned, using this information to make tomorrow's efforts more effective. These small improvements seem insignificant in isolation, but they compound into extraordinary results over time. The compound effect also applies to your understanding of infinite intelligence itself. As you practice harmonizing your thinking with universal principles, your ability to receive guidance improves. You become more sensitive to subtle insights, more adept at recognizing opportunities, and more skilled at translating inspiration into practical action. This enhanced capability makes future progress easier and more rapid. You must also understand that the compound effect includes periods of apparent stagnation where your efforts seem to produce no visible results. These plateau periods are not evidence of failure. They are natural parts of the compound growth process where your improvements are accumulating beneath the surface before manifesting in visible progress. The final principle transforms your understanding of success from personal achievement to universal service. When you truly harmonize your mind with infinite intelligence, you discover that your greatest success comes not from accumulating benefits for yourself, but from becoming a conduit through which infinite intelligence can serve others and advance human progress. This transformation marks the difference between temporary success and lasting achievement, between personal satisfaction and universal significance. When you align your efforts with serving others and advancing human welfare, you tap into reservoirs of energy, inspiration, and resources that are unavailable to purely selfish motivations. Consider the greatest achievements in human history. They were accomplished by individuals who transcended personal ambition to serve larger purposes. The inventors who revolutionized communication, the entrepreneurs who created solutions to universal problems, the leaders who advanced human freedom and opportunity, all discovered that their greatest success came from allowing infinite intelligence to work through them for the benefit of others. This service orientation does not require sacrifice of personal success, it multiplies it. When you focus on creating value for others, you automatically attract the resources, opportunities, and support necessary for your own advancement. When you solve problems that benefit many people, you create wealth and influence that exceed what purely personal efforts could achieve. But here's the paradox: this service orientation must be genuine, not merely a strategy for personal gain. Infinite intelligence responds to authentic desire to serve others, not to manipulative attempts to appear altruistic while pursuing selfish objectives. The universe has a way of distinguishing between genuine service and clever self-promotion. Here's how you become a conduit for universal achievement. You must expand your definite major purpose beyond personal benefit to include service to others. Ask yourself, how can my success serve others? What problems can I solve that will improve human welfare? How can I use my unique capabilities to advance human progress? This expansion doesn't require abandoning your personal goals. It requires aligning them with universal benefit. The entrepreneur who builds wealth while solving customer problems serves both personal and universal purposes. The artist who achieves fame while inspiring others serves both individual and collective advancement. The leader who gains influence while advancing human freedom serves both personal and universal objectives. As you develop this service orientation, you'll discover that infinite intelligence provides greater guidance, more abundant resources, and more profound insights than when you focus solely on personal benefit. You'll find that obstacles transform into opportunities more readily, that the right people appear at the right moments, and that solutions emerge with greater frequency and clarity. This transformation also creates what I call legacy consciousness, the understanding that your true success will be measured not by what you accumulate, but by what you contribute. This consciousness motivates you to think beyond immediate gratification toward long-term impact, to build systems and solutions that will benefit others long after you're gone, and to use your success as a platform for even greater service. The time for intellectual curiosity has passed. The time for passive absorption of information has ended. The time for wishful thinking and half-hearted efforts has concluded. You now stand at the threshold of transformation, equipped with the principles that have guided every significant achievement in human history. You have learned that infinite intelligence is not a mystical concept, but a practical force that responds to minds prepared to receive its guidance. You understand that success requires the harmonious integration of focused thinking with purposeful action. You know that obstacles are not impediments, but opportunities for development and course correction. But knowledge without application is worthless. Understanding without action is impotent. Principles without practice are mere philosophical entertainment. The question that will determine your future is not whether you understand these principles, but whether you will implement them with the intensity and persistence required for success. Here is your immediate assignment. Within the next 24 hours, you will complete 3 specific actions that begin your transformation from ordinary thinking to harmonized achievement. First, you will write a clear, specific statement of your definite major purpose, not a vague wish or general intention, but a precise description of what you intend to accomplish and why it matters. Second, you will establish a daily practice of mental preparation that combines focused thinking with receptivity to infinite intelligence. Third, you will identify and take one specific action that moves you toward your purpose while remaining open to guidance and course corrections. These are not suggestions for consideration. They are requirements for transformation. Every day you delay implementation is a day you remain trapped in mediocrity, disconnected from the infinite intelligence that could guide you toward extraordinary achievement. You must also understand that this path requires commitment that most people are unwilling to make. You will face criticism from those who are threatened by your refusal to accept limitations. You will encounter obstacles that test your resolve and challenge your methods. You will experience periods of apparent failure that tempt you to abandon your purpose and return to conventional thinking. But you are not most people. You are someone who has chosen to align your mind with infinite intelligence, to harmonize your thinking with universal principles, and to become a conduit through which achievement flows into the world. You are someone who understands that true success comes not from getting something from life, but from becoming someone who can serve life's greatest purposes. The universe is waiting for your decision. Infinite intelligence is ready to guide you toward achievements that exceed your current imagination. The resources, opportunities, and insights you need are already moving toward you, waiting for your mind to become receptive to their presence. But they will wait only as long as you remain committed to your purpose and aligned with universal principles. The moment you retreat into doubt, distraction, or conventional thinking, these forces will redirect themselves toward others who are prepared to receive them. Your choice is simple. You can continue living as you have, accepting whatever circumstances present themselves, hoping for improvement while taking no systematic action to create it. Or you can begin today to harmonize your mind with infinite intelligence, aligning your thoughts with your purpose and your actions with universal principles. The first choice leads to more of what you've already experienced, the frustration of unrealized potential, the regret of unexplored opportunities, the disappointment of dreams deferred. The second choice leads to achievement that exceeds your current imagination, contribution that serves humanity's advancement, and satisfaction that comes from knowing you fulfilled your highest potential. The decision is yours. The time is now. The power is within you. The universe is waiting for your response. What will you choose?